Hello guys and welcome back. This is my last video reviewing the new Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palettes. I have done 3 other videos. I put a playlist on the side, so if you're interested in any of the eyeshadow, go check it out. First video was the Cinnabar and Muse. I decided to record those together because they were both kind of neutral and similar enough. Then I did the Myth and then Sorcery, and today is the Vega palette, which I'm very excited. I was about to say I'm most excited about, but I think that Myth palette, to me, that did it. So of course we have the beautiful outer packaging, and this is the inside of the palette, and it is a very cool tone palette. I would say leaning very gray. Here is the palette up close. So we have some velvet, seamless matte, metallic, and luminous finishes. So let's get swatching. I'm going to start with this one up here, and this is French Gray. That is a velvet, and I've been really liking her matte formulas. I think they're so good. This one is a very smooth as well, very light, as you can see even on my skin tone, and I'm quite fair. It's pretty light. I'm curious to see how this will go on the eyes. You know what I've discovered is that with her mattes, they're quite light. Like, they don't go on the eyes the way you see them. You have to build up that color, which is fine by me, but it's just something you need to know. Smoke and Mirrors is a seamless matte right there. This is it right here. Here are the 2 colors. And then Moon Swirl is a metallic. Ooh, this one feels very creamy and amazing. Okay. Ooh, I like that. That is beautiful and quite intense and metallic compared to some of our other metallics. Moving on to Turbulence, which is a seamless matte. And it seems to be more of a neutral brown. That is it right there. Ooh, yes. On a palette like this, you really need a good brown that's not cool tone, just to kind of balance the eyeshadow. Let's move on to Supernova, which is a luminous finish. I do like the luminous finish. I think it's more intense than the metallic in a way that it has more glitter, but not that much base to them. I don't like the top coats from her so far. They're just not enough, but that is the color. Okay, let's put it close. So that is almost like a topper, but it has a little bit more base to it. It looks pretty. And then Lamp Black, that is a seamless matte. Ooh, wow, that is so smooth. So these are the swatches of the Vega palette. All right, guys, I have cleaned my brushes and let's get started. We are going to start with this one right here, the French Gray, and just put it in my crease. I'm curious if this will show up on me or not. Let's make sure we don't have any lines. And let's go in. It kind of shows up. It definitely defines my crease. It's soft though, but I do like that. I have noticed that all these lighter transition shades are very light, barely showing up on my skin tone. I put that color in my crease and you can definitely see it. It's soft, but it's there. Okay, going on with this brown right here. Taking it on a brush, this is Refer number 1. It's just a little bit more dense than the other one. And I'm building this up in the outer corner. I do think I want to do more of a like cat eye look. Not too much, but elongate it to the outside here. Even this color seems quite light. Definitely builds up and blends in really nice, but it does go on a little lighter, you know, than the pan. I mean, I think with her shadows, you kind of need to learn how to work them and what to expect. So that's the shade right now built up, you know, with a fluffy brush. I'm going to take a flat brush just to see if I can build it up more It's not that I wanted more, I want to show you guys what you can get. And you can see that it definitely built up faster with a flat brush, just because it's more dense and it will apply more product. I'm gonna move on and take this color right here. This is the Smoke and Mirrors. And I'm gonna build up this outer area. This is a color that it's pretty, but it can go really wrong on my skin tone if I don't use it the right way. Like, it can look really just muddy and messy. So I applied that color and I'm gonna blend this out. I'm taking a clean, fluffier brush and blending it out like this. It does have a little bit of fallout, but nothing crazy. Okay, so this brush from BK Beauty, this is the 210. Is this new? It's probably new. I love it. I love it so much. It's a little pointier and a little smaller than my regular pencil brush, but it's not quite as small as the Refer 23, which it's probably my favorite. But this gives me a little bit more versatility, because something like this with the Refer 23, it may take me a little too long, but this one is pointy enough that it gets the job done. I placed that color and I actually really like it. I like the way it blends out. It's a very easy and it's not a hard color to work with. Yeah, it's nice. Let's take the black one on Refer 23. And I will pretty much go over, just don't feather out this that much as the other color, the Smoke and Mirrors. I still want, you know, this look to not have any harsh lines, not a harsh liner, but just give that kind of foxy eye almost. Oh, this brush is so good for like something like this. And then I'm taking the brush that already had the Smoke and Mirrors and blend those together. And then I'm taking this black and tapping it right in here. Now this one does have more fallout than the other ones, so I probably would do my eyes first, even with this palette. Now I'm taking the brown with a fluffy brush, this one right here, and just kind of blending this out, feathering it out even more. The one thing I've noticed with her mattes, and just in general, is that you can feather these out into nothing pretty much. So you kind of have to be careful with how much you blend in the colors, because they can turn into dust. I have noticed that a lot with her shimmers. So just be aware of that. I'll talk a little bit more at the end, the pros and cons of everything, but I can notice it here. That's why I'm being so careful not to overblend, because it's just gonna feather away. So I definitely have fallout with this one. If you guys can see right here, it looks kind of muddy in here, and even in the inner corner where I kind of went in to do that pointy, it's a little muddy. I will clean all of this up, of course, wipe it all off, but that's just something that you should know. All right, let's move on to playing with the shimmers. I want to swatch both of these. I mean, I'm gonna use both, of course. So I'm gonna take first this one up here and add it in the outer area, in the center, kind of here. That's a pretty color, I like it. Kind of patting it. I don't think I want this super intense pigment with it. Just want a little bit of shine there. And then take this one and brighten up. Okay, wow, that is so pretty. And I'm gonna connect those two. Ooh, that is a good color. Yes, and I'm gonna bring it all the way almost to my crease, past my crease, feathering it out towards my brow. Okay, so this I like. See that luminous formula? I like that it has a little bit of a base, and so it has more pigment and intensity than other colors. Like then the top coat, that one is not very noticeable at all. Okay, I like that a lot. It's so pretty. So on the lower lash line, I'm going to do a little bit of work, not too much. I'm going to clean up, you know, all that mess. But let's take this brown right here, the bottom one, and put it here. Again, I don't think I want any black there, just because I want to keep it on the outer area and then inner corner right here. But we do have to connect the eye look a little bit. And I'm going to take this one in the inner corner, like the lower inner corner right here. Probably should have done this after I cleaned my mess, but oh well. Ooh, that color is so pretty, and it really does have an impact. I really like that color. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to clean up. It looks a little messy. And then let's take this one and put it right, let me look. I'm gonna put it right here, connecting it to the front one. All right, guys, I will go clean up. I'm probably gonna end up wiping a lot of my concealer and adding again, because this blue-black color, if it falls, it will make your under eyes look dark and messes the whole look up. But let me clean up, put mascara on, and I'll show you the finished look. So overall, I really like this palette. I think it's really fun, pretty, and practical. The one color is this one. What is this? French gray. It's just a little bit light. I wish it had just a little bit more punch to it. It's not bad, but because of this color, I almost feel like, I don't know, I wanted a little bit more from it. I did use it as a transition shade and to kind of buff out the edges, so it's nice. But for my skin tone, this was fine. Maybe I wish it was a little bit warmer, that way I could use it a little bit better. But it's a pretty color. This brown right here, oh, this is Turbulence. So this is a must in this palette, because that's pretty much my crease color. That is what blends the grays into my skin tone really well without making me look sick or muddy or like I have leftover makeup. Also, these shimmers are really good. Like these two are probably my favorite shimmers that there are in the whole collection. This one and the one in the Myth. I love the undertones. There's almost like a slight pinkness, purpliness to the bright one, the Luminous. And this gray one, it's like a taupe color. They're really, really good. Even this, the one that Smoke and Mirrors, the one that I was kind of scared of, actually worked really well around my lash line. Not so much in the inner corner. I think it made it look a little bit messy. So next time I probably wouldn't put that in the inner corner, because of that color. If it falls a little bit, it really can bring darkness and attention to that area. And the dark black is really nice. It's one of those blue based black that blend in really easy. It's intense without it being too intense, but you can build it up, kind of like all her mattes. It's really good. I think the shimmers are what makes this palette really good, and this brown right here, those are just combined so well, and I think it is a gray look without it being like off on me. So this is a wonderful palette. I had absolutely no problems. Again, the French gray, it's not that it's not a good color. I don't want to say it's useless either, but I probably could have had a different color instead of that one. All right, guys, so let me tell you my final thoughts on these palettes, because I do have quite a lot of thoughts. I'm going to start ranking them from my favorite to my least favorite. And let me find it. My favorite is Myth right here. I love this color story. I love the way these performed, and I like how they looked on me. It made me feel very feminine, but a little bit mysterious. And whenever I wore this one, I got so many questions about what's on my eyes. So I think this is my number one. There's not a dud in this palette. Everything shows up well. Even the topper, which I don't love this formula, but this topper, because of the intense, almost neon-y pink that it has of the shimmers, it really pops. And also, of course, this is such a beautiful color. I think the second and the third are really kind of neck and neck, but because I am more of a neutral color girl, I think I would pick the Vega that I used today. I think it is very unique because it's gray without being too gray and muddy, and I could see myself reaching for this. This brown right here, like I mentioned before, is wonderful. I will talk at the end about the matte formula and like the shimmer formula and everything, like what I like, what I don't, but I think this is my second. Third one is the Sorcery, if I can find it, right here. And I really thought that this was a good color story. It was fun. You had like this sparkle duochrome shade that works so well. That is, yeah, the Luminous Duo, really nice. You don't have the topper shades, which I don't like the topper shades. Is there only 2 topper shades? Maybe 3? I'll talk about those a little bit. But I love the blue one. I think it is a good undertone blue. I love the green one, and I think green pops on brown eyes really well. So I like this palette. It's kind of fun, unique, and it's my number 3. Next one is Cinnabar. I think the colors are pretty. They're kind of generic in a way. I really liked the mattes in this palette, and I found them just gorgeous. I think the shimmers are lackluster and they're just not what I was hoping for. Are they pretty? Yes, but for this amount of money, I think it could have been better, and the formula could have been just a little bit more unique. The topper is almost useless. I mean, you can't barely even see it. So because of the shimmers, this is my number 4, but I do like the color story of the mattes. And last is Muse, and I kind of knew this going in. I almost didn't purchase it because this is not my color story. The shimmers here are the most disappointing because they just don't show up. All of them feel just very generic and lackluster. They just don't pop on my eyes, and whenever I put them on, I've had a hard time keeping the pigment there. I do like the mattes, like in the Cinnabar. So what I think personally I'm going to do is take all these mattes, 3 from Cinnabar and 3 from Muse, and make my own palette, just because I don't see myself reaching for these kinds of shimmers. I think they're more for people who want barely their makeup and that kind of elegant, soft eye look, but that's just not me. And pink shimmers is just not my thing. Now that you know which one's my favorite and my least favorite, I'm going to talk a little bit about the overall thoughts on this release. I want to say that I usually am quite biased towards Lisa Eldridge. I just love her aesthetics. She makes me feel calm and pretty, and just the way she explains makeup in general, I really like it. And so I had really high expectations, and going into this release, I wanted to be mindful of that. I didn't want to just blindly be like, this is the best because she said so. And so I will share my honest thoughts, and it's okay if you have different thoughts. I am slightly disappointed in the overall release. I think I was expecting more, mainly from the shimmers, metallics. I understand that Lisa Eldridge does softer looks, and then the shimmers aren't those super pigmented shimmers. But to me, the shimmers were hard to work with because they just did not show up. And if they did show up, they would fade away when I try to put a little bit of matte in my crease. And so because of that, that was disappointing because she has so many metallics in her formula. The Luminous Metallic Top Coat, Luminous Duo, all those, I see a slight difference in them, but not enough where I'm like, yes, that formula is unique and special. And I think the metallics aren't even throughout her palettes. The ones in Vega, they are more intense than the ones in Cinnabar or Muse. Those two shimmers just seem like they don't have anything special. So because of that, this was slightly disappointing. I've had time to kind of look through my videos that I did in the past and kind of really think and swatch and gather my thoughts, and I really think that I came to the conclusion that her metallics are just not that great. There are also a couple of shimmers that I do like the Luminous Duo. I find that beautiful. The one in the Myth, I love that shimmer right here. So I don't want to say all the shimmers are like that, but all of them kind of fade and I have to keep going back and reapplying it, almost like it doesn't stick to my eyes. Now I wore Myth a whole day and I did find that it wore nice throughout the day. So I think throughout the day it will stay, but for that amount of money, it just seems a little bit like, well, I shouldn't have to work so hard to get that pigment on there. Now, the thing that saves this all release for me is the mattes. The mattes are incredible. You kind of have to learn to use them because in the beginning, you're like, oh, there's not much pigment there, but they're extremely creamy and I like the way they blend. But you have to kind of build the mattes on themselves, and it always gives such a beautiful creamy eye look, and I really do like them. I do think that there is a place for these palettes, and I think there's a lot of people that will absolutely love them because the shimmers are not that intense and because they're just easier to work with. They blend in really, really nicely. So I'm not saying that for everybody this release was slightly disappointing. It's just for me personally, I want a more intense shimmer, and if I do wear glitter or toppers, I wanted just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So those are kind of my overall thoughts on the release. I've had a couple days to think about it, swatch, play with them a little bit more, and these are my thoughts. I am glad I have them because I do like some palettes a lot, like the Myth. I love it so much. There's something about those colors. I like Vega. Sorcery has some really nice, just fun colors, but there's not one palette overall, maybe the Myth, that like every single shade is so unique, so worth the money, and I can't dupe it and all that. Like, I just think I can have the same exact looks with other palettes. So you're definitely paying for the name, the luxurious packaging. I like the packaging. It is light though, so you may be disappointed at that if you feel like you're gonna get this Pat McGrath quality to the packaging. It's not. I like how small they are, and I don't mind the light packaging because I think these in my makeup kit will be perfect because I've got so many colors and I can kind of stack them and carry them that way. I really do want to hear your thoughts on this. It's okay if we have different thoughts because we're different people. We like different makeup. These are just my personal, I don't know, excitement and disappointment that I wanted to share with you guys and be very honest. Also, the Sorcery lipstick and lip liner, wonderful. Absolutely love them. So leave me your thoughts down below, even if they are very different than mine. I love reading through them, commenting back, and that is the end of my little Lisa Eldridge marathon. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.